Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. So we were here in the first verse of the Ariyajati. So we learnt about the rules of bars, rules of the ganas or groups. So there are 7 rules we learned in the previous discussion. In Arya verse, in the first half, the 6th bar should be all light syllables. That means Nagana, the 6th bar should be a Nagana or Jagana. And together with the heavy syllable at the end, that is the second rule. There should be a heavy syllable at the end. And then there should be other 6 bars, 6 other bars. Then there are all 7 bars and a heavy syllable at the end. We called it Antagaru, heavy syllable at the end. Then that is about the first half. And then there is no Jagana in the odd bars. There cannot be a Jagana in the odd bars. This rule is related to the both first half and second half. Not only first half, this rule, the 4th rule, is about the first half and the second half. So in both halves, there should not be a Jagana in the odd bars. Odd bars, by odd bars, we mean first bar, third bar, 5th bar, and 7th bar. For first group, third group, 5th group, and 7th group should not be Jagana. Then the 5th rule, 5th, 6th, and 7th rules are about the second half of the Arya verse. So in the according to the 5th rule, in the last half or in the second half, the 6th bar, or actually not a bar, but the 6th place has a light syllable. There is only one light syllable at the 6th place. There is not a group actually. And then at the end of the second half, there is a heavy syllable. And then apart from those two, apart from the 6th light syllable and the Antagaru, Chattalahu and Antagaru, we can use those terms also. Chattagaru means Chattalahu means 6th light syllable. Antagaru means the heavy syllable at the end. So apart from the Chattalahu and the Antagaru, there should be other 6 bars. So these are the 7 rules of Arya verses. I think it is very clear for you now. So as I remember, we checked this verse because as we have already learned in Vuttodaya, the sutra itself is the example. In other words, the Lakkana itself is the Lakkya. Lakkana Sangyuttang. Lakkana and Lakkya are combined in the Vuttodaya. So if we check this again, Chatto kila lahu jova. Yeah. Chat. This is a one heavy syllable. Chat. To. Ki la la hu. Ki la la hu. 4 light syllables. Jo wa. Okay. Then here there are 3 groups. What are those 3 groups? Chat is a heavy syllable, so there are two matras, so measures. Chat. There are 2 measures. And to is also a heavy syllable, so there are 2 matras. Ki, there is only 1 matra or 1 measure because it is a light syllable. We have already learned this before. A light syllable has only 1 matra and a heavy syllable has 2 matras. Here also 1 light syllable, so only 1 measure. La, 1 measure. Hu, 1 measure. Jo, 2 measures. va, two measures. So here you see when we add these things, 2 and 2, there are 4 measures. 4 measures. So in Arya kind of verses, or in Matta Vutti, 4 measures are considered as the one group, So here Chatto is a group, and it is a Magana Ma group, because in Matta Vutti, Ma group has only 2 syllables, 2 heavy syllables, but in Vanna Vutti, as we have learned, in Vanna Vutti there should be 3 syllables in every and each and every group. So then Kilalahu, 4 measures, so 4 matras. So this is another group. This is another group. And then Jova, another group, because there are 4 matras. So this is the first line of the Arya verse. First line of the Arya verse. And then Gayutanye Chaggana Najo Visame Ga Yu Tan Nye Chag Ga Na Na Jo Visame Gayutanye Chaggana Najo Visame. If we count these things, Ga, only one measure, and then you also only one measure, and then Tan, how many measures are there? 2 measures, 2 matras, and then Nye also 2 measures, Chag also 2 measures, Ga only one measure, Na only one measure, Na 2 measures, Ga Na, and then Na 1 measure, Jo 2 measures, Vi 1 measure, Sa 1 measure, and then Me 2 measures. So here 1, 2, 3, 4, here is one group. It is a Sagana or Sa group, because there are 2 Lahu syllables and 1 Garu syllable. So this is a Sa group. And then Te Chag is another one group. Te Chag is another one group, because there are 4 measures here. Then Ganan is another group. Then Jo Vissa is another group. Jo Vissa is another group. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 groups. Okay, so which one is the 6th group? This is the first half of the Arya verse. This is the first half of the Arya verse. Then if we check that those rules we have learned in this first half, first rule is that 6th group should be a Nagana or a Jagana. So which one is the 6th group? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. This is the fourth group. This is the 5th group, and this is the 6th group. The 6th group should be a Nagana or a Jagana. So now if you check this is a Jagana, because there are 3 syllables, Lahu Garu Lahu. So Lahu Garu Lahu or Majja Garu group. You can call this Majja Garu group, because Majja means middle. So in the middle there is a Garu or heavy syllable. So you can call this Majja Garu group or Jagana. So this has been a Jagana. So this is in accordance with the rule. So then the second rule is there should be a heavy syllable at the end. At the end of the first half, there should be a heavy syllable. So here you can see the heavy syllable Me, Me is the heavy syllable. There are two moras or two measures, and this is a heavy syllable. So that is the second rule. And then third rule is, apart from the sixth group and antagaru, or the last heavy syllable, there should be 6 other groups. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. This is the sixth one. Apart from this, so there are other 6 groups. So that is also that rule is also seen in this first half. And the other rule, which can be seen in the both halves, is that there cannot be a jagana in the odd places, odd group places. So what are the odd groups? This is the first one is an odd group because it is the first one. So it is a magana, not a jagana. And when you check the third one, because third one is also an odd group place, third one is also a magana, not a jagana. So then fourth one, fifth one is also a magana. You can see it is also not a jagana. And then the seventh one, this is the sixth one, this is the seventh one. Seventh one is also a bhagana, because garu lahu lahu is bhagana. You can call this pubba garu or adi garu. So this is a adi garu bhagana, bha group, not ja group. So that fourth rule is also we can observe the fourth rule also in the first half of the Arya verse. And then we are going to the second half. Arya yantadhe lo ari ya yan tad de lo. This is the third line. Arya yantadhe lo. So if we check the garu and lahu here, a is lahu, so there is only one measure. Tri is lahu, there is only one measure. Then ya is garu, there are 2 measures. Yang garu, 2 measures. Tad garu, 2 measures. De garu, 2 measures. Then lo garu, 2 measures. So there are here also you can see there are 3 groups. This is the first group, Ariya. Ariya is the first group because there are 4 matras. And it is a sagana because it is antagaru, lahu garu, light heavy. So this is a sagana. And the second group is a magana. Third group also is a magana. There are 3 groups, and we are going to the fourth line of the Arya verse. Arya yantadhe lo chattonte go gana chanye. Chat thon te go ga na chanye. Chat thon te go ga na chanye. So this is the fourth line of the Arya verse. So let's check measures. Chat, there are 2 measures because it is a heavy syllable. And then tone also 2 measures because it is also a heavy syllable. Te 2 measures, go 2 measures, ga 1 measure, na 2 measures, chan 2 measures, and ne 2 measures. So let's check those rules in the second half of this Arya verse. So in the second half, first rule is that sixth group place. In the sixth group place, there should be one light syllable. There cannot be a group. There is only one light syllable. So let's check. This is the first group. Ariya is the first group. Yantad second group. Dhelo third group. Chatton is the fourth group. Tego fifth group, and sixth place is this. So here this is not a group, this is a lahu or light syllable, one light syllable. Okay, then seventh group, you can see here, Nya, Chan, this is the seventh group, and Nye is the Antagaru. So the second rule actually in the second half is that there should be a heavy syllable at the end of the half. So we can observe that heavy syllable here, which we call Antagaru. And the third rule is that there should be 6 other groups apart from the Antagaru and Chattalahu. This is the Chattalahu and this is the Antagaru. Apart from these Chattalahu and Antagaru, there should be other 6 groups. So we can observe here 1, Yanta 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So that is the third rule. And the fourth rule, there is another rule which can be observed in both halves. That is, there cannot be Jagana in the odd places. So when we check if we check odd places, Ariya, this is the first group. So it is an odd place, and that is not a Jagana, it is a Sagana. Lahu Lahu Garu is a Sagana. And this is the second one. Third one also an odd place, but it is also a Magana, not a Jagana. And then this is the fourth one. Fifth one also, you can observe it is a Magana, not a Jagana. And then seventh place also, you can observe Magana, not Jagana. So what you should keep in mind is that mostly we can see only Maganas in the odd places. You cannot observe other groups often, but here actually there is a Sagana in the first place. Other ones are not observed, but there can be other ones also, like there can be Nagana instead of Magana here, for an example. Instead of this Magana, there can be a Nagana. So what is the rule? The rule is that there cannot be Jaganas at the odd places. Other groups which we can use in the Arya verses can be used in odd places. So this is how we check the rules of actually bar rule, rules related to bars in Arya verse. So you can mark these measures, light and heavy measures, by that symbol, like, you know, curved line and straight line, but I don't know how to type that curved line in the computer. So instead I have used 1 and 2, because 2 stand for 2 measures and 1 stands for 1 measure. So you can use these things also, but it is better to use those symbols presented in Uttode itself. Okay, then let's go to the
Hi, Bante.
Yes, Dr. Ryan.
Yeah, may I have a question, Bante?
Yes, of course.
Yes, so the question is about line break, Bante. So I don't know whether or not we are going to study this in the following verses. But here we can see that the first and the third line, each of them have 3 groups. Is that also another rule for the Arya verses, Bante?
Yes, it is a rule. We will learn it in the flowing verses actually.
I see.
It is another rule. Okay, now we know the bar rules of a Arya verse. And then we are going to the Yati Niyama. Yati Niyama. Oh, so another thing is there to do. That is to count all the measures in in these 2 halves, because there is a rule that in the first half of a general Arya verse, there can be only 30 measures. There can be only 30 measures. And in the second half, there can be only 27 measures in a general Arya verse. So if we count these measures, you see in in every group there are 4 measures. So there are 7 groups. There are 7 groups. Here in the first line there are 3 groups, so there are 12 measures. And in the in the second line, in the first line there are 12 measures. In the second line there are 4, 8, 12 and 16 measures. So if you count these, there are all 28 measures. And when you add this 2 measures of the Antagaru, there are 30 measures. So please keep in mind this as an extra knowledge. There can be only 30 measures in a general Arya verse. Then here in the second half there can be 27 measures. So if you count these things, so there are 6 groups in the second half, and there is 1 lahu at the 6th place and 2 measures in the Antagaru. So in each group of these 6 groups, there are 2 measures. So all totally there are 24 measures. And when we add these three measures, 1, 2, these 3 measures, there are 27 measures. So this is also for your extra knowledge. In the second half, in a general Arya verse, there are totally 27 measures. So when you count these all, when you add these all, there can be 57 measures in a general Arya verse. In the first half and the second half, totally there can be 57 measures. Okay. So that is the bar group of Arya verses. Now we are going to the word break rule, or the Yati Niyama. Yati Niyama. Yati means the word break, Niyama means rule. So the rule related to word break. Actually not one rule, rules related to word break. Can someone read this verse? Oh, I will read first and give some of you chance to read then after me. Patamadhe chattoche sabba lahethadi lahuni bhavati yati tappara kontepi sache charime pabhavati chatuthonte. Patamadhe chattoche sabbalahetthadi lahuni bhavati yati tapparakonte pisache charime pabhavati chatuthonte. Okay, can some of you recite that?
So, Pandey, maybe I would try it. Patamate chatoje sapana hitadi nahuni bhavati yati taparo kondevi sache charime bhavati chatuthonte.
Wow, very nice. Okay, so this is the rules related to the word break. Patamadhe chattoche. Patamadhe. Patamadhe, we can disjoin this as Patama Adhe, first half. Patamadhe means in the first half. Now you know this is the first half. This is we are reading the first half of the verse, and in the first half, Patamadhe in the first half, Chatto, 6th one. By 6th one we mean here the 6th group or the 6th group place. Che, if sabba lahethadi lahuni. How can we disjoin this? Sabba lahu etha adi lahuni. Sabba lahu etha adi lahuni bhavati yati. Sabba lahu Sabbalahu means the group which has all light syllables, or in other words, Nagana. Nagana. So in the first half, if the sixth group is a Nagana, if it is a Nagana, te, according to the grammar, we should put a verb here. So te bhavati, te bhavati. Sabbalahu te bhavati. Patamadhe in the first half, Chatto sixth group, Sabbalahu na group, te bhavati, if it is a na group. Ettha here, ettha in this na group, adi lahuni, in the adi lahuni, in the first lahu, here ni is the Satami vibhatti. So adi lahuni means in the first lahu, bhavati yati, word break occurs. Word break is there at the first lahu syllable. Okay, then tap parakon, that is the that is one rule about the word break. Then tap parakon tepi sache, tap parakon tepi can be separated as tap parako antepi, tap parako antepi. So tap parako, this is somewhat difficult to explain. Tap parako, this is the tap parako is a compound. There are two nouns, tha and para, tha and para. So tha is the pronoun tha. So tha here refers to the Nagana, which has been mentioned here. So Nagana, parako is following, para. So tap parako means something which has a Nagana following it, something which has a Nagana following it. So what is that? Chatto, the sixth group has a Nagana following it. In other words, after the sixth group, the seventh group is a Nagana. Okay, this is the second rule. If in a verse, after the sixth group, there is a Nagana, or in other words, in the seventh place of groups, if there is a Nagana, then what happens is, then where should be the word break? Ante, at the end of the sixth group, word break should be done. Ante pi. So this is also another rule related to word break. Now we have learned two rules. Charime pabhavati chatuthonte. Charima is another word for anta, something which is at the end, So charime here refers to the second half of the verse, because the second half of the verse is the ending half. First half is the beginning half, starting half, and the second half is the ending half. So you can call this second half charima, the last half. So in the last half, where should be the words broken? Where the word break happens? Charime pabhavati, in the second half, pabhavati, that occurs where chatutho ante, chatutho, fourth, isn't it? Chatutho means fourth. So fourth group, if the fourth group is tapparako, this tapparako, I think you know about the, some of you will surely know about the Kako Lokana Naya. Kakolokana Naya means in the sentences, sometimes there are words that should be joined with more than one word. So inside the sentence, a word is mentioned only once, but we should take the meaning by joining that one word with many places, maybe with 2 words or 3 words. So that is called as Kakolokana Naya. So here also this is Kakolokana Naya, the rule which is called as Kakolokana. So here Tapparako should be joined with this Chatutto also. The fourth, if in the second half the fourth group is followed by a Nagana, then Ante, at the end of the fourth group, the word break should be there. So this is the word to word explanation. So we can read the rough meaning given here by Bhante Ananda Jyoti. In the first half, if the 6th bar is all light syllables, in the first half, if the 6th bar is all light syllables, then word break is here after the first light syllable at the beginning. This is the first rule. If the 6th bar of the first half is Nagana, then at the first light syllable of the Nagana, word break should be there. Then the second rule is that, but it is at the end of the other one. At the end of the 6th bar, if the 7th bar is all light syllables, that means the word break occurs at the end of the 6th bar if the 6th bar is followed by a Nagana. This is the second rule. And the third rule is that these 2 rules are related to the first half, and the third rule, only the third rule is related to the second half. So in the third rule is that, but if the subsequent 5th is all light syllables, it is at the end of the 4th. So if the 5th group is a Nagana in the second half, then what happens is word break happens at the end of the 4th group. So these are the 3 rules. This is somewhat complex. This is somewhat difficult to understand, but don't worry, you will understand this slowly. So let's go and check whether this verse is in accordance with this Yati Niyama, or the rules of word break. So this is also a Ariya verse, Ariya kind of verse. So if we check this verse according to the Gana Niyama first, you know now there are 2 rules in the verse, Gana Niyama and Yati Niyama. Gana Niyama refers to the rules related to the bars, and the Yati Niyama refers to the rules related to the word break. So first, let's check the Gana Niyama here. Please listen. I will break down the groups. Pa here in the Patamadhe Chattoche, Pa Te Mad is one group. It is the first group, Pa Te Mad, because there are 4 measures. Pa Te Mad. Then De Chat is the second group, and then Toche is the third group. Then in the second line, Sabbala is the 4th group, because there are 4 measures. You see, sub 2 measures, ba 1 measure, la 1 measure, 4 measures. Then Hetha is the 5th group, Hetha. Di, la, hu, ni is the 7th group, because it is a Nagana. There are 4 lahu measures, 4 light measures. Then Bha Ti, ya is the seventh group. It is also a nagana. Then ti is the anta garu. It is actually a light syllable here, but we consider this as a garu, or a heavy syllable. Or in other words, we consider it as padanta garu. Okay, then here let's go and check the sixth group. Di, la, hu, ni is the sixth group. So in the previous verse, under the Gana Niyama, or the rules related to bas, we learned that the sixth group should be a Jagana or a Nagana, Ja group or Na group. So here you can see there is a Na group. So the first rule is can be observed here, and then there should be there should be Antagaru. We can observe that Antagaru also here, and there should be 6 other groups apart from Chattagana and Antagaru. So here 1, 2, 3, there are 3 groups in the first line, and then Sabbala is a group, so 4 groups, Hetha 5 groups, Bhavatiya 6 groups. So there are 6 other groups apart from the 6th group and Antagaru. So in the second half, Tab Para is 1 group, Kon Te 1 group, 2 groups, then Pi Sache is 1 group. You see, Lahu Lahu Garu, there are 4 measures, so 1 group, 3 groups, then Chari Me 4 groups, Pa Bhavati 5 groups. Then the 6th place should be, in the 6th place there should be a light syllable, so you can observe the light syllable here, cha, cha. Then the 7th group, tut, tut, thon is the 7th group, te is the Antagaru. So apart from this Antagaru and Chattalahu, there are 6 other groups in this second half also. So this is in accordance with the Gana Niyama, or the rules related to bas. Then we are going to check the Yati Niyama here, or the rules of the word break. So here in the first half, we learned that there are 2 rules related to the first half, 2 word breaking rules, 2 Yati Niyamas related to the first half. Those are, if the sixth group is a Na group, then at the end of the first light syllable, we should break words. So let's check whether how should this be broken. So here, as we observed, the la, hu, ni, the 6th one is a Nagana, Na group. So in the Na group, at the end of the first light syllable, the at the end of the first light syllable, at the syllable the word break should be there. So you should recite this as Patamadhe Chattoche Sabbalahetadi Lahuni, like that. Word should be broken. Word should be broken, but it is not actually obvious. The word breaks which are inside lines, which are within, word breaks within lines are actually not very obvious. What is the most obvious break? That is actually not a word break. Most obvious break is are line breaks, especially at the end of the half and end of every line. There should be line breaks, so they are very obvious, but these word breaks are not obvious like those line breaks. There is a subtle difference when you recite. The word should be broken. Then what is the second rule? Second rule is that if the 6th group is followed by a Nagana, or in other words, if the 7th group is a Nagana, then what happens is that at the end of the sixth group, there should be word break. At the end of the sixth group, there should be word break. So here in this verse, we can observe this is the sixth group, the Lahuni, and after the sixth group, seventh group is also a Nagana. Sabbalahu, Nagana, Na group. Bhavatiya, this is the Na group. So according to the second rule, word break should be done at the end of the sixth group also. So according to the rule, this should be recited as Patamadhe Chattoche Sabbalahetadi Lahuni Bhavati Yati, like that. So that is how words are broken. So let's go to the second half. In the second half, there is only one rule, that is after the fourth group, if the fifth group is a Nagana, then at the end of the fourth group, there should be a word break. So let's see here in the second half. You know that in the first line, there are three groups, that is default. Usually there are three groups, and then fourth group is the beginning group of the fourth line, Charime. Then this is a fourth group, Charime is the fourth group. Then Pabhavati is the fifth group. Fifth group is a Nagana. You see, fifth group is a Nagana. So what happens is at the end of the fourth group, there should be a word break. So when we recite this, this should be recited as Tap parakon te pisache charime pabhavati charime pabhavati chatutonte. So after this charime, or after the fourth group, a subtle word break should be done. So these are the three rules related to word break. So actually word break should be given attention, especially by the reader. Especially the reader should give attention to the word break, because that is the reader's responsibility to break words at the appropriate places. But a good writer also should consider about word break, because for an example, if a word break should be done in an inappropriate place, for an example, like somewhere like, you see, if let's say the word break should be done here, Adi Lahuni, now word break in the actually word break was done at the Adi. Okay, so let's say if the word break should be done at La, Adi La. Let's say the word break should be done at La. The writer, this is only an example, okay? The writer has composed the verse so that the word break should be done at La, at the end of La. So what happens is that when you recite this, you will have to recite like Patamadhe Chattoje Sabbalahetadi La Kuni Bhavati Yati. Then this is actually the break-in has done within a word, not within a compound. You know, inside a compound, inside a samasa, there can be many words. There are many words, of course. So if you break a word at the middle of the word itself, then it is not good. It is not good to recite. So because of that, the composer or the writer of the word should give attention to compose the verse so that the word breaks are located at the appropriate places. Okay, so these are the rules related to word break. Now we have learned all the rules related to the general Arya verse, there are Gana Niyamas and Yati Niyamas. So in other words, there are rules related to bars or groups, and there are rules related to word break. So are there any questions? Is that clear for you?
So Bande,
Yes.
so if like the word break is after come the like in the middle of the word, of course we know it's not easy to recite. Maybe also it's broken the meaning, but in the second line, like the word break should be come to the Jerry May, right? After the May. But why do they put the comma after the subject?
The comma actually does not denote word break. Maybe maybe it is to denote the third line, is it? But actually line break was not shown in this book.
Because like even in the original the body text, it also the comma come very often. So
Okay. Original Pali text. Sometimes the comma is put so that the reader can easily understand where to break. I mean, where the compounds are done, where the words are joined. Like apostrophes are often put, and sometimes the commas are also put to show the places where samasa or compounds are there. But here I have actually no idea. I will study this later and tell you.
okay,
But
thank you, Bande.
this actually does not denote word break. Word break is here and it is not shown here. But in you see here the word break is shown in these symbols. Word break is shown, but in the verse word breaks are not shown.
Yeah, that's why if for beginner it's very difficult and they may confuse.
Yes, yes.
Hi, Bante.
Yes, Dr. Ryan.
Yeah, so does that mean that when we recite a verse, we are not going to stop at the end of the first and the third lines, Bante?
We should stop at the end of the first and third lines.
But then, so
Yes.
that means the comma here signals the end of the third line. So we also should stop there.
Which one?
In this verse, the verse that you are showing us right
Okay,
now,
okay.
in the second line, the second line. So
Okay.
the second, yeah. So the second half. Then
Okay,
we
second
have the
half.
third line. So the third line stops after the word sache.
Yes.
So that means when we recite this, we have to stop right there as well, right, Bante?
Yes, you have to stop at the end of sache because
Yes.
it is the third line. So you should stop there and you have to stop again at the end of charime.
Yes. But does that mean that the comma somehow signals the end of the third line?
Yes, we can say like that, but the problem is at the end of the first line the comma is not shown, and in previous verses also comma was not there to denote line break, you see. So that is why that is why we were thinking why this comma is there. Yeah, we can take like that. The comma denotes the line break, but in other places the comma is not there. Like here, patamadhe chattoche, comma should be there. Here you see. Patamadhe chattoche, comma denotes the line break. Here also, tapparakonte pisache, line break. Oh, but here you see what Seale mentioned. can be observed here. Some commas are there, some commas can be observed everywhere. So these commas actually, I think these commas denote where you should break, like here it denotes the sandhi or the combination. Tapparako and ante has combined. That is why comma is put here. Tapparakon tepi sache. Here also a comma is there.
Yeah, in fact, it is very strange, because at the end we have Chatuk Thong Te, and then there is, it's not a comma, but it's an apostrophe.
Chatuthonte.
Yeah. It's not a comma, but it's an apostrophe.
Yeah. It's an apostrophe.
So, I don't quite know what is the purpose of the commas here. So,
Yeah, actually, when I typed this, I thought to delete all those commas, but then I thought it will be easier for some of you to read when commas are there, and to understand well where to break the words and how to disjoin the words. So that's why I kept them in this file.
Fante, so I think we should not take comma as important as it is. Maybe we just disregard comma.
Yeah, we.
But
You mean we can? Yes.
But I noticed that when Burmese people, the ancient texts, when they write the Pali text, their words is very long. They don't leave any space, not even a comma. So that if we read Burmese version, then we cannot see where's the comma stop. So in this case, I think we can say that comma in these verses are they are very helpful, but we should not consider them important.
Yes, actually, yeah, you're right. They are not important. We can ignore them. But if we think why these commas are put here and there, I mean everywhere. Sometimes these commas and apostrophes has some precise meanings and benefits, because in Sanskrit, when there is a paraswara lopa sandhi, or the second or the following vowel is elided or deleted, then there is a symbol like you see thayo me, yes, thayo and ime. When these two words are combined, what happens is that this paraswara or the second vowel is elided and or deleted. Then what happens is this is a combination thayome. In Sanskrit, in the places like this, there is a symbol, something like just for now like this. There is a symbol here in Sanskrit. So in Pali, this is just to denote that the paraswara lopa sandhi has happened here. The combination in which the second or the first vowel of the second word is elided, deleted. So this is the symbol. So in Pali, we use apostrophe, not in Pali actually, not in the recent texts. In Pali, there is not something called apostrophe. In the recent texts, when we write in Roman letters and in in Burmese letters also, and in Sinhala letters also, we use apostrophe in behalf of that symbol. But this is a rule. But what has happened is now people are using this apostrophe everywhere, in every combination. Like in the Purvaswara Lopa, when the first vowel is deleted, they also use this apostrophe. So that is why in the class also, I once asked from the Dr. Bante about this problem, but he also told that this is done traditionally or something like that. So sometimes there is a meaning, like in another example is that you see here, what you call this semicolon, isn't it? Semicolon. So here at the end of the first line, you use a comma, and at the end of the second line, you use a semicolon. You see in these verses, at the end of the first line, there is a comma, and at the end, there is a semicolon. Third line also, there is a comma at the end, and the fourth line, there is a full stop. So this this system, I observed this system in the Chatta Sanghayana Tipitaka actually, because the reason for this is that we learned there should be a special line break at the end of the first half. So this semicolon denotes that special line break. You have to stop there, obviously. That stop is very obvious. That is why the semicolon is used. And the stop here at the end of the line is not very obvious. Sometimes when some people recite verses, the line break at the end of the first line is cannot be observed at all. Like someone can recite like this verse, Pare Padadi Sangyoge Yo Pubbo Gado Kakkaro, like that. So the line break is not obvious, but actually a subtle line break should be kept there. However, that is not obvious. So we use a comma here and a semicolon here. And at the end of the third line, it is also a general line break. So we use a comma. And at the end of the fourth line, we use a full stop because the verse has finished. So sometimes actually there is a meaning and advantage. There are advantages of using these symbols, but sometimes we cannot imagine why those things are put. So I have understood it as they have put there in order to make it clear for the readers to read and understand.
Excuse
Okay.
me.
Yes.
Sorry, Bante.
Yes, please.
Yes. Hello, Bante. I
Yes,
have the
please.
questions regarding this verse.
Okay.
When we make word break, we have to connect with their meanings. But why here, Chattutonte, it means the Chattutha and Ante. But why we make the word breaks cha and tutonte? But here when we make the word breaks, the falsify the meanings, right? Cha and tutonte. When we make the word breaks, we have to connect with their meanings, right? And then
You mean in this 18th verse, in the fourth
yes.
line?
Yes.
Charime bhavati chatuthonte here.
Yes.
Okay.
We make word break in the cha and tutonte. Right?
No, we do not make the word break there.
But here, cha and light in the sixth board. Cha.
Okay.
Yes.
Sixth one is cha, so therefore we should make a word break there.
Yes. In the book, the word break there, cha and tutonte.
No, because the reason is we learned that there are 3 types of word breaks. 2 for the first half, and the third one is for the second half. Okay.
Yes, Bante.
Okay. So the third one was that after the fourth group, if there is a nagana, after the fourth group, if there is a nagana, then at the end of the fourth group, there should be there should be a word break. So that was the rule. So this is not related to that rule, chatuthonte. Actually, as you told, in the first half, the rule is related to the chagana, but in the second half, the rule is not related to the chagana. In the second half, rule is only related with the fourth and fifth groups. Okay, is that clear?
Yes, Bante.
Okay. Then there are some other things to explain here, not actually explain, but just to tell here. Here in this Charime Pabhavati, maybe you are referring to this book, so I should mention that here. Charime Pabhavati in traditional books, maybe you observed in that PDF also. This is mentioned like as Charime Pi Bhavati. Charime Pi Bhavati. Charime Pi. In the second half also, the word break is there. Word break occurs. So that is a traditional way, but Bhante prefers this one, Charime Pabhavati, because Bhavati and Pabhavati also do not have a big difference in the meaning. So this also can be taken, but actually Bhante gives another reason to consider this as Pabhavati. You can read that later. So that is one point, and another point is there. That is, if there are two, like, you know, we learned that there are two rules related to the first half. Two rules. One rule, first rule is that if the sixth group is lahu, at the first syllable, at the end of the first syllable, the word break happens. That is the first rule. And the second rule is that if the seventh group is lahu, then at the end of the sixth group, the word break happens. So when both of those conditions are there, if both of those conditions are there, by that I mean, if the sixth group is also Nagana and the seventh group is also Nagana, as we can observe in this verse. In this verse, in this example itself, sixth verse is Nagana and the seventh verse is also Nagana. So should we use both rules here? Should we keep two word breaks? So that is a question. Word break is done especially to have a break. To have a break when a line is long, there should be a break in the middle of the line. So if we keep two breaks here, maybe I think it will be not good to recite. So Bhante, actually in traditional studies we haven't learned this, but Bhante Ananda Jyoti says that if both of these conditions are there, as we can observe in this verse, then you should use the word break only at the end of the sixth group, or in other words, you should only use the second rule. Like here, I said that according to the rules, you should stop at the, and again you should stop at ni, because the sixth group is a Nagana and the seventh group is also a Nagana. So there should be two word groups like Patamadhe Chattoche Sabbalahetadi Lahuni Bhavati Yati. So that will be actually more difficult to recite if you keep two word breaks at the same line. So this we can explain this as, this is the example verse for these both rules. So because of that, Venerable Sangharakkhita has composed the verse so that both of these rules are shown. Okay, but when we recite and when in other places, if you meet such places where the sixth group is a Nagana and the seventh group is also a Nagana, then please use only the second rule of word break. Please keep the word break at the end of the sixth group. You do not have to keep the word break at the end of the first syllable of the sixth group. So there is such a explanation also. But actually, as I said, in traditional studies, we haven't learned this. So I also have had understood that if there are two word breaks, not two word breaks, if you can observe both conditions, you should keep two word breaks. But Bhante says that it is better to keep the word break at the end of the sixth group.
Yeah. Hi,
Okay,
Bhante.
now yes, Dr.
Yeah. So does that mean that we can? So according to the Bhante Ananda Jyoti, then we should take the second rule. I mean, we should take precedent. I mean, the second rule should take precedence over the first rule. That's what he says.
Yes, that is what he says. That is what he says.
I see. So yeah. So the another related question is that so these two rules are not how do I say they should not go together, right? But what I mean is that we should take them separately, right? Because in maybe so in this particular verse we see those two rules together in the first half, but maybe there are other verses that there is only one rule exist in the first half, right? So for example, if in some verse we only have the sixth group as the Nagana, but
Yes.
the seventh group is not Nagana. So we still
Okay.
we still have to follow this rule, right, Bhante?
No. If the seventh group is not a Nagana, then we should use the first rule, isn't it?
Right.
We
So
should keep, yeah.
Yeah. So we still have to use the first rule to break the word.
Yes, of course. Yes. Yes.
And then yeah. So the same thing. If the sixth group is not the Nagana, but the seventh group is Nagana, then we still have to use the second rule, right, Bhante?
Yes. You are right.
Right.
Yeah,
Thank
we
you.
should take these rules separately.
Yes.
Yeah, these are three separate rules. But if both rules, first one and second one, first rule and second rule, have opportunity to occur, then what you should use is the second rule. You should give priority to the second rule, as Bhante Ananda Jyoti says. Okay. Then shall we go to the next one? Okay, no questions. Okay, here Arya Pathya. Arya Pathya. We are going to learn the name of the verses we were learning now, because actually we learned the rules, but still we did not learn the name. Like we learned something like Arya Yang Chatto Arya Yan Taddhelo. In the Arya verse, we met this name, but still we did not name the verse. This is not name in the verse. This is something like using the name in order to explain the rules. We did not name the verse. Now, what is the name of this verse? We should give a name for this verse, which has both of these rules in it, Gana Niyama and Yati Niyama. So this is the naming of the verse. Arya Samanyang che Pubbodita Lakhanang Bhave Yassa Adima Matha Pada Yugang Yassa Tyansehi Sapathya. So this Arya Samanyang che Pubbodita Lakhanang Bhave Yassa and Adima Matha Pada Yugang Yassa Tyansehi Sapathya. This is one verse according to this book we are referring to now, but in the other books, in the Burmese books and in other books, we can see this verse as two separate verses. Ariya Samanyanche Pubbodita Lakhanang Bhave Yassa is one verse, and then Adima Matapada Yogang Yassatyanse Sapatya is another verse. So you will ask, how can these be two verses? There are only two lines in each verse. Ariya Samanyanche Pubbodita Lakhanang Bhave Yassa is a half verse, not a verse actually, a half verse. And Adimamata Yogang is also a half verse, not a full verse. So how can this be two verses? According to the tradition, we learned that these here Bhante Venerable Sangha keep only half verse in the Vuttodaya. He does not compose full verse by the half, because this is just naming. So to just name, he does not compose two verses, two separate full verses. He composed two half verses. So that is according to the tradition, but Bhante Ananda Jyoti considered these two verses as one verse. Because why can he consider this as as one verse? Because this first half has the characteristics of the first half of Arya verse that we learned above. We learned characteristics of the first half and second half. So in these two verses, the first this half I'm showing you has characteristics of the first half of Arya verse, and the second half here, this half verse has the characteristics of the second half of Arya verse. Okay, so because of that, you can combine these two half verses and consider these two half verses as one full verse. You can consider these two half verses as one full verse. So that is what Bhante Ananda Jyoti has done here. But I again say that this verse is considered as two half verses according to the tradition. So the meaning of I'm not going to explain this word to word, but just I will tell the meaning of the first half verse or the first half according to Bhante Ananda Jyoti is that Ariya Samanyang. Samanya, you know, the Samanya has the meaning of something like general. So Ariya Samanyang, a general Ariya verse. Che, if Pubbodita Lakhanang, Pubbe Udita Lakhanang, Pubbe before Udita, which has been said, Lakhanang characteristic. Bhave Yassa, in which verse Pubbodita Lakhanang, the characteristics which has been said before in the Gananiyama and the Yatiniyama, the verses we learned just now, the characteristics shown before, Che Bhave, if occur, the characteristic of the Arya verses or the Gananiyama or the Yatiniyam and the Yatiniyam, if they occur in a verse, that verse is called as Ariya Samanyang, a general Arya verse. Okay, so we name by this half verse according to tradition, or these two lines, so this half of this full verse according to Bhante Ananda Jyoti, what has been shown or presented is that we name that verse Arya which has characteristics shown in the above two verses, Yatiniyama and Gananiyama. Okay, we name that verse Arya. This is the general name. There are various Arya verses, but generally, if a verse has these characteristics, we name it Arya. And then in that Arya kind of verses, Adima mata pada yugang yassa tyansehi sa pathya. Yassa, in which verse? Adimang atha pada yugang. Atha, you can take the meaning of atha as similar to sache. If Bante has given the meaning as then, it is also okay. Then, or if Adimang pada yugang, first two lines, yuga is couple, so first couple of two lines. But here adi adima is, we can translate it as first, but actually it adima refers to the first line of the first half and the first line of the third half. Okay, these two lines are referred here by the word adimang. Adimang, adi month, you know the suffix month, it is a taddhita. So month, adi mantu, according to the Pali traditional grammar, adi mantu, adi beginning, mantu which has beginning. So something which has beginning. So this first line and the third line has the beginning of the respectively first half and the second half. So here adimang pada yugang refers to first line and the third line. So if in a verse, first line, if in Arya verse, first line and the third line has Tyansehi, three parts, answer, meaning of answer is part, but here we take the meaning as group. We take the meaning as group because in these verses, one part, like the smallest part is a group. So we take the meaning as group for the word answer. So tyansa means the answer. The answer has combined and it becomes tyansa. I becomes y. So tyansehi, the first and third lines have three in each line, first and third line, there are three groups, or there are three ganas, three clusters. If that is so, then we name that verse as pathya. Pathya. Okay, so pathya is a name. So all the verses we learned until now in this Arya group, the first one, which was Gana Niyama, this one also, we observed three groups in the first line and three groups in the third line. And in the second verse, which presented Yati Niyama or word break, in that also we observed three groups in the first line and three groups in the third line. And here, here in this verse also, we observe Ariya Samanyang Che is the first line, and in the first line there are three groups. You can count it. Ariya, one group. Samany, two groups. Nyang Che, three groups. Here also Adi Ma, one group. Matha Pa, two groups. De Yu Gang, three groups. So in the first and third lines there are three groups. So we name that verse Pathya. So the type of all these verses are Arya generally. The general name, the ordinary name is Arya. But then if in the Arya verses, if in Arya verse, there are three groups in the first line and third line, we again name it Pathya. You can call it Pathya Arya Gatha. The Arya Gatha, which is again named as Pathya, or you can call it like this also, Arya Pathya Gatha. Pathya, which is included in the Arya group. Yes, Arya group. Arya Pathya Gatha or Pathya Arya Gatha, however you can call it. So this is the special name given for the Pathya Gatha. So do you have any questions? We are going to observe some one example actually in the text. Yes.
So
Please go ahead.
Yes, please.
Mary.
okay, so Bande, if according to previous verse, so we take this verse as example. So where should we make the word break?
Where should we keep the word break? The
Yeah,
word break should be there if the conditions are there. Because
But
we have,
in this case, the condition is not here. I checked. So
yes, so there is not a word break then. The word break should be there if only the conditions are there. If there are no conditions, no word breaks.
but if like this verse, the one line is very long, if without a word break, how can we know where should we stop?
Where should we stop? Yeah, this is long, but I think you observed that in the word break of Arya verses are there when there is a na group, when there is a nagana. Because in a nagana there are 4 short syllables, and as I have understood, I haven't actually Bante Anand Jyoti gives an explanation for that according to another theory like resolution or something. I did not read it well actually. However, how I have understood is that this nagana if there are 4 short syllables in line, that is the place where it is difficult to read without stopping. So because of that, Bante Sangarakhita puts that as a condition. The word break happens only where there is a nagana, if before a nagana or within a nagana. So if there is not a nagana in a line, then word break, you do not need to put a word break. But actually in other verses where there are so many syllables, when there are many syllables, yes, when there are many syllables, actually I'm using the word syllable. It is not good here because we are working with the measures. However, in the verses where there are many syllables like 14 or 15 or 16 syllables, then the nagana is not important. Word break is done here and there according to the rules. But here there are actually not, these lines are not very long comparing to those verses. Comparing to the verses with 14 syllables or 20 syllables, these lines are very short, we can say. But within those short lines, if you put a nagana here and there, then the line becomes little bit longer. Because in a nagana there are 4 syllables. Just, in a usual group of the Arya verses, there are 2 syllables or 3 syllables. Okay, in Magana there are 2 syllables, in other groups there are 3 syllables, but if in a Nagana there are 4 syllables. So the line little bit becomes longer, and maybe another reason, as I think, is that reciting 4 short syllables in line without having other syllables in the middle of them, it is somewhat difficult for us. So that is why the condition is there. The group in Arya verses, the yati niyama or the word break, the rule of word break happens only within a nagana or before a nagana. Okay, that is how I understand that.
So if there's no nagana like this, we don't need to consider the word break.
Yes. You don't
So,
need to
but
consider word break.
like in this non from the Arya until the Yasa. So in this part, like the moras, the 30 moras. So among the 30 moras, so where should we stop?
Actually, you stop at the end of the first line. First line, like Ariya Samanyang Te. Here is the first line. So you will ask how you know that is the end of the first line.
Yes.
We know that. Yes, we know that because of this. The what we learned just now. Adimamata Pada Yugang. Yasatyansehi. In a typical Arya verse, okay, in a typical Arya verse, there are only three groups. There are only three groups in the first line and the third line. So that is how we know about the line break of the Arya verses. In a typical Arya verse, which is also named as Pathya, the line break happens after the first three groups. Arya Samanyang Te. Here you should break the line because it has mentioned here that in the typical Arya verses, the Adimang Pada Yugang, the first two couple of lines, just take first line. In the first line, there should be Tyansehi, there should be three groups. So that is how we know that here is the place we should break the line. Okay.
Okay, so that means if there in the Arya verse, if there's no Naganam, we don't need to consider the word break. We only consider the non-break is enough, right?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So we are going to observe. Oh yes, Dr. Anand, please.
So yeah, so the verses we've been so far are the Arya verses, and then also in addition, you said that they are the Patya verses as well. So my question
Yes.
is that how do we know when we look at the verse? Because how do we know that when we look at the verse, how do we know that they are Patya verses?
How you know that there are Patya verses?
I mean, how do we, when we look at the line, how do we know that we should give the line break after the three groups? Is there any characteristic signals for us to recognize that verse is the Patya verse?
The point is that when we meet a Arya verse, usually we consider Arya verse as a Patya verse because Patya verse contains the general rules of a Arya verse. So a different verses can be there where some other characteristics have added. So when we observe a verse, if we see that those other characteristics are there, like for an example, after the first three groups, usually there are three groups in the first line. Okay, usually there are only three groups, but after the three groups you cannot stop there, you cannot break the line. There should be another letter here, like you see in this verse, Hadayang, here ends the line, but you see Hadaya, something like Hadayama or something like that. Not Hadayama, but another, just suppose that another syllable is here in this last, that belongs to the last word of this verse. Then what happens is that there are more than three groups. Usually there should be three groups, but because of this one syllable, there is one additional mora. Then if we can understand that this letter should be added to the first this side or front side, where the three where we met the first three groups. After the first three groups, there is another syllable, and there is another measure. Maybe you can say that measure you should add to those three first groups. Then that verse becomes another kind of verse, actually within Arya verse, but that is not Pathya. So in places like this, where there are some differences, you can understand, you can how to say, you can say that this is not a Pathya verse, because in a Pathya verse you should stop after three groups. Line break should be there after three groups. Is that clear?
So that means the word, the word has to be complete after the three, whatever word that is, but that word has to be complete after the three groups.
That word has to be completed after the
the
three
word
groups.
has to complete after the three groups.
Just say there is a compound, very long compound. Okay.
Yeah.
There is a very long compound that should be broken at the middle of, like here. So when you break the compound, okay, you can break it so that the front side there are three groups and there are no additional moras, only three groups, and the remaining part you can take to the second line. So it's okay, you can keep a compound and you can break a compound so that the line break is there after three groups.
So
However, you should break the line after three groups. But what I told is that if is just say there is one syllable here in the final word, so you cannot take one syllable to the other side of the other line. It is against the rules. Like there are some other rules in the alankar actually that are called as yatihina. When you keep the line break, there are some rules. So you cannot take the last syllable to the other side. Last one syllable you cannot take to the other side. If you take to the other side, at least there should be two syllables. Okay.
So we are going to see these rules later on, right, Bhante?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. And that's
okay,
a good idea. Thank you, Bhante.
Okay. So we are now at the beginning of the Digha Nikaya commentary, Digha Nikaya Attagata. So Silakhanda Vagga is the first part of the Digha Nikaya. You know, there are three parts in Digha Nikaya: Silakhanda, Mahavagga, and Pateya Vagga. So in Silakhanda Vagga, actually this is the first commentary of the Sutta Pitaka, whole Sutta Pitaka. So in the at the beginning of the commentary of the whole Sutta Pitaka, Venerable Buddha Ghosa composed Arya verses to pay homage to the Buddha and Dhamma and Sangha. So these are Arya verses. You can observe these verses according to the rules we learned. Because the time is up, I wanted to actually check these verses with you, but please do this as a homework. Just check the first verse by your own, and we can discuss in the next discussion. You can check these all verses in the next discussion. So don't go beyond the third verse, because there are some difficult places in some verses. So please, if you have time, just check all these three verses. If you don't have time, just check the first verse, Karuna Sitala Hadayang. This is a Arya verse, and actually this is a Pathya Arya verse, Pathya. So just to recite this, Karuna Sitala Hadayang Panya Pajjota Vihata Mohatamang Sanaramara Loka Garung Vande Sugatang Gati Vimuttang. So this is a Arya verse. This should be recited in the rhythm that we recited the Arya verses. So in the Pali texts, actually not in the canon, Pali canon, Arya verses are not seen for my understanding, for as I know. But in the Nettipakarana, maybe you have heard, it is included in the Khuddaka Nikaya. Nettipakarana, there are many Arya verses there. Okay, are there any questions? Shall we wind up our discussion?
So Bande, may I have a last
Yes.
question?
Yes.
So like in Bali, do we have the fixed rule to recite Arya verses or other verses? Is there any rule to fixed? Because like
No,
in
no.
Sanskrit, if like the Sama Uta and like 8 syllables or 11 syllables, they have the fixed rule to recite. So in Bali, do we have that one?
Like, are you asking about a rhythm?
Yes.
Have you studied such a rhythm about 8-syllable verses?
Like in Sanskrit, I heard my Sanskrit teacher when he mentioned like that. So their the rhythm is really different. Like the Alushtup or some others, like Totaka method, is their recitation is different.
Okay. In Pali, actually, there is not such a system of rhythms. We have heard actually we have read in the commentaries and sub-commentaries that in ancient times there were some systems like that to recite verses and to recite when you preach Dhamma, when you do the Dhamma talks, there are some systems to recite these things. There are terms like Sarabhanya and so on, but in the present there are no such systems. So we just recite as others recite.
I see. Okay, thank you, Bande.
Okay. Okay, then thank you all for participating. Then let's wind up our discussion by reciting Buddha Sasanam Chirang Tithatu. Buddha Sasanam Chirang Tithatu. Buddha Sasanam Chirang Tithatu. Buddha Sasanam Chirang Tithatu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Bante.